Stoyan Yankov is a man of the sea, a proud fisherman for over 40 years. His story begins in his homeland of communist Bulgaria.
When I was a kid, my dad started taking me fishing, and he took me fishing one Sunday, and that's when it all started. We caught more fish than anyone else around us, and I was on fire for fishing. Later on, I found out that I grew up, and I finished the 8th grade and was getting ready to go to middle school to learn a trade. I noticed that the only people that can leave the country are the fishermen. They are the only ones that could leave the country. So I wanted to go to a fishing school, and that's what I did in 1972.
Stoyan went to a military-sponsored fishing school. He learned his craft well, but he was also taught something else.
You're in an environment where you're constantly brainwashed to believe in that system of communism, socialism, and atheism and evolution. You have to understand that there is no personal freedoms in communism and socialism. Everything is controlled by the government, and you did whatever the government told you to.
He completed the 4-year program, and Stoyan's first assignment was aboard the first Bulgarian vessel to trawl off the northwest coast of the United States. But Stoyan had other plans.
Everyone's dream at that time was to defect and live in the United States. And the country is so powerful and so advanced. We all knew how advanced the United States was, but we don't know how much.
While their boat was docked in Portland, Stoyan and 2 other crewmen left the boat. A guard stopped them on the gangplank.
His job was to make sure no one came in on the vessel or left. But once every hour, he has to go around the ship and check everything. So he said, "Where are you guys going?" I said, "Well, we're defecting." He said, "No, you're not." I said, "Why not?" "Well, basically the gentleman didn't want to be a witness, so he said, well, every hour I have to go around the ship, so when they disappear out of view, just, go ahead and leave."
It was that simple. Stoyan was free. He got a job right away as a crewman on a local trawler. As the years went by, he worked his way up to part owner of a trawler, making routine trips to Alaska. He soon met Angelique, and they married in 1986. She was a Christian, but Stoyan wasn't.
He was this big, tough, kind of ornery Alaska fisherman. "Get out of my way, I'm coming through, and I don't care."
My wife had tried to talk to me about God and Jesus, but I rejected it because of my background and striving to be the best at what I was doing.
He would get really angry when I'd mention God or try to talk about God, and so after a while I just stopped.
Decades of hard work took their toll on Stoyan, and he developed excruciating sciatica in his back and leg.
And he was in a lot of pain, and it had increased to the point where he was immobile. And Stoyan had been in this recliner, sleeping and laying, sitting for at least a week and a half.
As the pain got worse, Stoyan watched more television. One day, Angelique had an idea.
She took the channel changer away from me. And you guys know what that means when the man doesn't have the channel changer. And she put the tape in.
My mother had sent us this video, and of course it was these incredible stories of miracles, healings, and people being saved.
At the end of the tape, when Pat Robertson started talking about this man that is sitting on a chair with excruciating pain,
sciatica condition is being healed by the power of God.
He was basically describing me exactly down to the last detail. It was me, and that's what got my attention. And then at the end, when he said, in the name of Jesus, you're healed, get up and walk, really got my attention.
And so I looked at him and I said, "What are you waiting for? Stand up." And he stood up.
When I got up off the chair and I started walking around, and I was shaking my leg, and there was no pain, there was zero pain. I knew right then there was a God. And I started believing in God right then and right there.
When you feel the power of God coming over you, it's like no other feeling. You know God is there.
Ever since that day, My back has been pain-free. There is no pain.
Stoyan became a Christian that day. He and Angelique joined a church and were baptized together.
That was a key turning point in our lives, that healing, because we both experienced that at the exact same moment. God began to work and move in our lives from that point, and he kept on like this.
Stoyan's journey as a fisherman started over 40 years ago, and he's still going strong today. He has his own boat and crew and continues to fish in Alaska when he's not working from his home office.
If someone that was born and raised in a communist country and being brainwashed in evolution theory, which has no legs to stand on, if someone like that can come to this country and be saved and become a believer in God and a follower of Jesus, then there's hope for everyone else, because I rejected God all my life until God got a hold of me and told me that He can do all the kinds of things for me. All I have to do is ask Him. And that's all it takes, for you to ask God, and He will come into your heart, and He will change your life, and you will never be the same.